Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. AfterBuzz is getting into the restaurant business. No, not literally, but we're talking about Feed the Beast on AMC today. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our first episode of Season 1, Episodes 1 and 2 of Feed the Beast on AMC. Brand new show, brand new panel. We have Abby Vega.
Hello, everyone. I'm Abby Vega, and you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at _Abby Vega.
And I'm your host, Phil Svitek. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This will be good. Let us know right off the bat your thoughts on this show. If you're new to AfterBuzz TV, subscribe on YouTube, subscribe on iTunes, all that fun stuff, or just check out our website for all the great shows. Abby actually does a ton of them.
I know. I'm here a lot lately. I love it. I love
absolutely.
This place.
Let's overall thoughts on they aired an episode on Sunday and they aired one today on Tuesday night, and obviously they're going to stick to now Tuesday's schedule. That's where we'll be doing our show. But thoughts on the first two episodes?
Episode 1, it was, to me, slower, but I think that's necessary when it's a brand new series. You have to just kind of set up, get the background on the characters. But then episode 2, I thought was super entertaining, and I was actually watching it live and tweeting. It seems like a lot of people are really getting into it, and so I think it's going to be a really good series, and it's something that very different from a lot of the shows I've been watching lately, so I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, I'm excited too. I kind of knew just a very small portion about what the show was, and I knew it was an import from Denmark, which is kind of the last foreign import that AMC, to my knowledge, did was The Killing, and that was a very dark tone, and I enjoyed that show and whatnot. But so I thought something similar, and it was good that this had a different tone from that. Obviously, this is still gritty and dark, and it's got the mob involved, but the fact of the chef and obviously Tommy, there's a comedic element to it through their struggles, which I enjoyed a lot. So I mean, the first two episodes I'm really kind of digging, and I think it's unveiling nicely. So I know. Since I didn't know much about it either, I was kind of, every time there's a new show that you don't know too much about, you're a little worried, like, oh, what if I don't like it? But I was very, very happy with it, and so I'm invested now. Absolutely.
Fully invested.
Well, let's talk about the two main characters, and then we'll kind of get into the storylines. Let's talk about Chef Dion.
Chef Dion. It's so weird because, you first see him and he's in jail, and he's obviously the chef cooking in jail, but I didn't immediately know what to think of him because you see him in prison, so you don't know if he's a good guy or a bad guy, but I like Dion a lot. Do you not feel the same? Yeah, I mean, as time went on, he seems a victim of circumstance. Now, at the same time, he sort of made those choices to put himself in those circumstances, so it's kind of like a catch-22 type of thing. But there's a good spirit in there, and that's what kind of makes me want to know more about him and is rooting for him. Yeah, I guess I actually take back how much I love him because I forgot about something in episode 2 that we'll talk about in a little bit. But I like how he interacts with TJ, and you see that there's a good person in there, and there's a lot more to him than that's on the surface. So I'm excited to kind of just get, remove the layers of him. Absolutely. And the most intriguing part for me is that I want to fully rewatch it, but in episode 1, where he's talking to the Tooth Fairy, and the whole notion of burning down the first restaurant was because he was put up to it so they could get insurance money, and he failed at that. Whereas still to this day, Tommy doesn't know the real truth, and I think that's going to be interesting as that plays out. Yeah, there's a lot of things from these first 2 episodes that Tommy doesn't know, I feel like, definitely with the second episode and everything that's unraveling. So I think that they're, right now they have that kind of, it seems, brother relationship. They've been close for a while, but I think that they're going to have a lot of issues come up. Yeah, they got to start telling the truth. Yeah, they've got some secrets, and they're going to come out eventually. So and then you have Tommy, who's a sommelier, which to me is basically just like a license to drink wine all the time. He's got the best job ever, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean,
some wine.
You know, I can't call myself a sommelier, but I grew up with vineyards and things like that, so I know wine to a much lesser degree. But it's like, I wonder what this wine would be paired with this. Like, that's all it is. It's just an exploration at the end of the day to me.
It's actually pretty interesting to see that on TV because I know nothing about wine except for that I drink it, like, and I don't care what kind it is.
Do you know the 4 parts of a glass of wine? We're going to do a quick pop quiz for everybody.
No,
There's
I don't.
the bowl, the stem.
Oh, like the cup of wine? Like the glass?
The actual glass.
I thought you meant like the glass that you're pouring. Okay. I know, the stem. No, actually I don't.
Okay.
You can finish it. The 4, what are they?
I just named them.
The glass, what are the other?
The lip.
The lip.
The foot and the stem.
Okay.
And the bowl.
Yeah, I know nothing about wine clearly. So I think it's kind of interesting. I like hearing him talk about it because that for David Schwimmer as an actor too. I mean, I'm sure he didn't know that stuff, so it's probably like a new language almost.
Yeah, maybe he does. Why are you saying he can't know about wine?
I guess he can. I mean, I will like David Schwimmer so much more if I know that he knows that much about wine, but it's cool to see that career because it's so random. But
yeah, I mean, it's because obviously he is an actual sommelier, but then he uses that as an excuse to essentially drink a ton, and he's obviously it's so layered because he's dealing with the wife, and then his job essentially is to sell it, but he can't sell it because instead he's drinking it.
Yeah, he clearly has a drinking problem, and that stemmed pretty much, I'm assuming, from his wife passing away. But yeah, I don't know what his deal is.
Yeah, it's tough because again, the interesting part is like you could say that he's doing it for his job, but no, he's really doing it for the wife.
Yeah,
and that's his way of coping with it.
Yeah, and I think that you see that the people that he's supposed to be selling this wine to are starting to realize that he kind of has a issue, and it's not just him doing his job.
Well, because he just doesn't care.
Yeah, not at all.
He literally has no motive in life.
I know,
and that's a tough way to go about.
And it makes me sad for his son more than anything.
Yeah, it's always tough because it almost, in some ways, it kind of becomes like one of those things. You're on an airplane, right? You got to put the mask on yourself first, and then help your kids and whoever else you can. But again, you're grieving for grieving is a lot different than being on an airplane. It's just for him, it's a year process, and it can go longer and things like that. And during that time, he has a son to take care of who is now a mute.
Exactly, and that kid is so cute. He doesn't. I'm like the girliest. Like, he is so adorable. But yeah, I think it's, even though Dion is gonna bring some trouble, I think it's the best thing that could have happened for Tommy. I think he needed someone to kind of, snap him out of it a little bit. I'm
gonna use an analogy that I heard today. They're flying a plane at the same time building it.
Wow, that's deep.
I like I said, I stole it. So
where did you hear that?
In a meeting.
So, all right, I like it.
In general, apart from those two guys, who's your favorite character thus far?
Ooh.
There's not a big cast of characters overall. We're pretty much sticking to anyone who has a direct relationship to these two.
Yeah, I actually really like. Oh gosh, I'm forgetting her name already, and we just had this discussion.
Pilar?
No.
The lawyer, Sheena?
Shayna. Yeah, I like her. It's interesting because to me, Dion seems completely clueless that she is actually emotionally invested in him. Doesn't it seem? She's like into him.
Yeah, I would say
that's
so.
What it seems. It seems like she actually wants, but he's kind of just using her when he needs her.
And she's torn because obviously the father. I don't know if Dion even knows the relationship.
I don't think he does. I think that was kind of a subtle thing that they included that we're kind of just waiting for them to find out. But yeah, I like her. I think she's an interesting character, and I also think the school counselor, I think she's gonna pop up a lot more. I think her and Dion might have a love thing.
Why? Because Dion looked at her ass and was like, oh, thank you.
No, there was just like this moment, and right when they had their interaction, I'm like, they're going to be a thing.
Okay.
Who's your favorite besides the main?
You know what? To me, the Tooth Fairy is kind of interesting in that way, just because obviously the name's ironic, and it's not what I would have pictured as like a main villain. And then in terms of a place, the whorehouse to me seems interesting.
Yeah.
And not because I'm a guy and it's a whorehouse, but because, again, Dion keeps going back there to get money, and I want to know what that full relationship is. Obviously, they're Greeks and whatever else, and you know, he calls him uncle, which again could be an actual uncle, or perhaps it's just a term.
I kind of got the feeling that it was just a term. But then also in regards to the Tooth Fairy, because you were saying he didn't seem like the normal villain. To me, this could just be me, but I almost got kind of like it was kind of like comedy to me whenever he'd pull out the little wrench, because it was to me it wasn't that he wasn't that scary, but what he was doing.
Wait till your tooth gets pulled out.
Well, I know, but the way he did it, he doesn't, like, you look at him and he doesn't look like your typical scary gangster to me.
Well, the funniest part of it all is the van that they're riding.
And he just sits in the back, like, I don't know.
I mean, it's an amazing. They decked it out. It's like what was that old show on MTV? Pimp My Ride. Yeah, you know.
Yeah, they pimped out their van.
So I think it's kind of interesting seen in that way. And again, just in general, I love like one of the most interesting parts is just exploring worlds that I don't necessarily know. And you know, kind of the restaurant business is intriguing, but now you got the mob involved, and the whole gentrification aspect to it with the Bronx, because in some ways it's the world's silliest idea. Like when you see that location, you're like, who's gonna go there?
Yeah, and definitely putting in that location, because it looks like everyone, it doesn't seem like it's not a wealthy neighborhood, so putting this nice Greek restaurant seems like not a good idea.
How much would you guess like a meal there costs?
I didn't even know the food that he was cooking. I know I wouldn't go there, so I don't even know. But
you're more like Mr. Moran. Like, what is this crap?
Yes, like, what is this? Just give me the cheeseburger and French fries.
Fair enough. I mean, that is definitely so. Yeah, just not the right area. I always love when people get that passionate about food, and that's what's so interesting about it.
Yeah.
So we'll see what ends up happening.
I agree, though, too. I really like seeing this restaurant business and kind of what goes into it, and I like the scenes where he's cooking, and because he seems so passionate about it, and so. I don't know.
I have to dig a little bit deeper, but as I was watching, it was an interesting comparison. It's like it's almost like Breaking Bad, but for food.
I didn't see Breaking Bad.
Dear Lord. Dear Lord.
I mean, I know he made what drug?
Crystal meth.
Crystal meth.
But there was Dion, to me, he's so just again because he's just so opposite in the sense of kind of the way he goes about life, but then when he's talking about food, there's such an artistry to it, much like Walter White had with his crystal meth. Like, again, there was, for him it was science, it was beautiful, and then just the way it was shot, and I think they're gonna get a lot of cool cooking shots in general.
Yeah, I agree completely, because even though I didn't watch the meth scenes happening, one
day you'll go back.
I already noticed, though, that I really liked the way that they shot him cooking, and how every time he talks about it, definitely when the Mr. Moran comes over, he is very passionate about it, and he gets super offended and defensive if someone's questioning it. So
absolutely. So let's start to dive in deep a little bit with the plot. Let's talk about Patrick, aka the Tooth Fairy, and Dion. This is an overall, like, across the two episodes, this is what really sets it off in motion, is this whole you owe me $600,000 and we got to pay this thing back.
Yeah. So
which I loved him opening the door, going to Paris. He walks
the van.
Yeah. That's stroke of brilliance.
I know, that was good. He opens the door and that guy's just sitting there, smiling. But I think it's very interesting to me in this whole plot line is just how Tommy doesn't realize that this is happening, right?
Not at all. Not at all.
And that's what I think is gonna make this a even bigger thing.
I agree, and I mean, the reason I don't think Tommy realizes, number one, right, when he's operating out of full pain and depression, he sees nothing, right, in that state of mind. And now, as he slowly shifts to kind of a happy state, right, as he says in the second episode when he's at the meeting, like, things are changing. I feel now.
Yeah.
But the thing is, he's also blind in both sides. He's blinded to actually what's going on because it's not part of his plan.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know, definitely with like the contract thing and all of that, I feel bad for Tommy in that sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
because this is where I didn't really like Dion, is because he was being very selfish in that aspect with the whole contract thing.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, because the restaurant still could happen and doesn't necessarily hinder the progress of Tommy. However, he's doing it out because he has 24 hours to produce a contract.
And he was Pillar, even though she doesn't really know anything, kind of ended up saying she had concerns, and he kind of made it so that Tommy wouldn't even be aware of these. He had his motive and what he needed to get, and was just going to do anything to get that, and didn't really care about Tommy.
I'd like to see this contract, because the concerns that Pilar was raising, I was like, are those really concerns? Like, that seems very cursory.
See, I didn't even know I thought she was kind of just like making stuff. I didn't even know, but to me, Dion, like I said, he didn't even really care to find out if this contract was good for them. He just needed the contract, and that's all. Who knows what the dad put in there.
Yeah, we'll find out. I mean, again, Dion's just getting deeper and deeper into all of this.
Yeah.
I mean, he's borrowing money from, we'll call him the uncle, to keep paying off the Tooth Fairy, and eventually, as the uncle says, like, I don't know what deal you got with this guy, but I don't like it.
Yeah, and then he's got the other guy. He's like in the middle of a bad triangle.
Yeah, that's
because right. He's communicating with 3 different mob guys.
He's just being tossed around any which way. And
his poor hands. How's he gonna be able to cook if they keep breaking his fingers?
I thought that would have been the first thing that because not that it's preferable, but if I was him, I'd have been like, all right, just take out a toe or something, because the hands, they gotta cook.
Yeah, that's what I was concerned about, because the Tooth Fairy does his tooth thing, but then he decides to just go for the finger.
Yeah, I guess as long as TJ can actually cook, he can just dictate.
I guess so, but I mean, I don't know. He needs to keep his hands intact, I think. I think it's important for him.
Yes, I agree. And so you had mentioned also about Dion, kind of his relationship with TJ and the nurturing side of it, so go ahead.
Yeah, I really like that, because obviously you see TJ is a mute. He doesn't talk and is having trouble at school, having these kids pick on him. And, when Dion volunteers to go pick him up, he notices the huge bruise, which, by the way, that was a gnarly bruise to get from that little kid. This
kid is definitely mean.
Yeah, that kid is so mean. And it was cute how he automatically just wanted to get out there. I mean, I don't know what he would have done to the little kid, but yell at him.
I think he would have beat the crap out of him. I don't think he would have held anything back, and to be honest, I don't know if that's right or wrong.
I know.
Technically, it's wrong.
Yeah, I think it's wrong. But,
But there's a human side to me, or a guy side to me, like, this kid you go kick his ass.
Yeah, and definitely when it's TJ, he's so just sweet and just sits there and, has obviously some issues going on. But, yeah, I liked seeing how he was kind of like a father figure, but then he also takes him with him to, like, get drugs.
Yeah, but he left him outside with, what was her name? Trixie or whatever. I don't know.
That's a very stereotypical whorehouse name, Trixie.
But, so they went outside. So he cares about him in that way, for sure. Let me ask you, do you have experience or understand kind of mutism in any way, shape, or form?
I do not. Do you?
I got to do some more research into it, because I don't. And, eventually, as we discuss it, I don't want to be ignorant about it, because right now, I could, to be fair to viewers, I completely am, and I don't understand it. And that's why when we talk about the bruises with Tommy, for me, that was a difficult scene, because I just don't understand, like, that side of mutism, because I was just say it.
Yeah, to say that it wasn't. Yeah, I agree. I'm very curious about that too, and definitely in the sense where he obviously wasn't always a mute. So, and I'm also was wondering if maybe throughout the season he's going to start to talk.
Yeah.
Or I don't know.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, I'm curious about that. And I also, with Dion and TJ's relationship too, TJ seemed genuinely very happy when he was in the kitchen, which I'm assuming he picked up from his mom and dad. But
well, there was that great moment. You know, they kind of had the various flashbacks and the coffee maker, right? They had that moment where she used to make things on it, and you know, he made it and it tasted good. Now he's obviously making coffee for his dad.
Yep.
So obviously he kind of hangs on to these various symbols, much like he hung on to the phone just to hear her voice.
See, at first, this was just kind of silly of me to think. I thought he was calling to just like make them stop yelling to like get them to answer the phone. But then I was like, oh, he's calling to hear her voice.
I thought, you know, and I thought they utilized it well because obviously Dion saw it earlier, and when he saw it, I was like, wait, it didn't quite register in my mind. Obviously I knew it was her phone and it meant something to him, but it was like, number one, why is the phone there? Number two, how is it even still on?
Yeah, he must be charging it.
Well, it was on the charger.
Yeah.
When TJ called, so that kind of explains that, and it was like, okay, that makes sense now.
Yeah.
By the way, in terms of the mutism, if anyone at home watching and or listening, feel free to comment. I would love to kind of get your guys' perspective on it. I think it is important, and unfortunately I don't have experience with it.
Yeah, me either. I want to know too, so.
All right, let's talk about, we kind of touched upon Shayna the lawyer, but why don't we go a little bit deeper? So he's as of now, he was at first under the assumption that she was the one that bailed him out.
Yes.
And it's now clear that it is in fact not her.
Fairy.
Well, no,
right?
No, it's the other guy ultimately, the cop.
Was it?
Because
I thought it was Tooth Fairy.
In the first episode, when he's beating him up, he says, "I got you out of jail early, you know, for this reason. I want, you know, this is my white whale.
Okay.
This is Moby Dick."
Okay, I thought that was the Tooth Fairy who said that to him. I could be wrong.
I think at this point in time, everyone's taking credit for it, so perhaps it is a little bit unclear. But if I had to put my money on, the ultimate answer is that it's the cop.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, with Shayna and Dion, like I was saying, they obviously, right when they see each other, they like hook up or whatever, and so you assume that they had been doing that a while. But to me, she kind of got like sad when he just walked out of the room, you know, and then when he showed up to her house just asking for her input on the contract, she tried to almost make him jealous. I thought the way she said, "I have company," and kind of kept the door closed. To me, that was her girly method of trying to make him jealous. I could be wrong. Did you get that vibe at all?
I got that. What about their second interaction when he comes over and then she watches him leave all the way? Remember there was like one interaction in between.
Oh, yes. I don't know.
That was slightly weird too. I mean, I would love to know kind of what their full history is, because obviously they knew each other beforehand. And, you know, I mean, you could see, like, even I think, I don't know, in this world, people know that Dion's not necessarily the greatest guy. At the very least, like, he's just in over his head and unfortunately does coke, which obviously is an attractive thing. But then, you know, if you're a female and he makes something for you, you got to be blown away by this guy's cooking abilities. Yeah.
And I think it's definitely with her profession, she's kind of torn. I feel like she has these feelings for him, but obviously she feels like, I don't know, I think she's conflicted with him.
I think very much so.
Because like you can't control if you have feelings for someone, and I think she's on that boat, and I think he's completely oblivious to her feelings for him, actually.
Or does he? Let me ask you this: is he oblivious, or does he just not have time?
Oh, to me, it came across very oblivious, because when he went over there trying to get her to, you know, use the contract, she, to me, gave him some attitude. Like, I'm not just going to be used by you.
Does he just want to use her, though? Or could he possibly have feelings for her?
See, I think that he doesn't realize that she actually has feelings. I don't think he is malicious in I'm just going to use her for this and then hook up with her and then be done. I don't think he has that feeling, but I think they need to just communicate better, maybe.
I mean, I get the sense from what Tommy describes Dion as, he hasn't found the right woman yet, and you can imagine, like, before all this happened, perhaps they could, that could have been the love of his life, and especially going to the scene at the school when he's like, "Oh, thank you," I think he could be somewhat of a womanizer.
Yeah. I'm kind of curious to see how it plays out. And then, like you said, too, that I think that Shayna and Dion obviously have a history. And I'm wondering if the show, I know they do flashbacks with Ray? Yeah, the wife.
R-I-E is how it's spelled. That much I know.
Well,
Ray.
I'm wondering if maybe this is going to be one of those shows that maybe implement some flashbacks so that we get some more background on the characters, or if they're at least going to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because right now, we know how he got to jail, and we know that Tommy's wife died, but we don't know anything about them before that.
We don't. But I think they will, and they've been utilizing the flashbacks quite well.
Yeah.
In the very, like, we've seen, whether it's Dion, whether it's Tommy, and even TJ, we've seen flashbacks, and that's been interesting. And going back to the whorehouse real fast, like the whole tire screeching, that, it brought about that memory of the car crash.
Yes.
With the mother.
So I'm thinking flashbacks will kind of help piece some things together.
Yeah, and I think, again, they're utilizing them very well, so we'll see. But unfortunately, I think Dion's a bit of a womanizer. Sorry.
Well, I definitely got the vibe with the counselor. Mm-hmm. I'm calling that happening. That it's going to happen. Just don't know when.
Interesting. All right, fair enough. Let's talk about another romance, Pilar. Is she trying too hard? What's going on here?
Yeah. She obviously exaggerated her involvement in the restaurant business, right?
Mm-hmm.
I
Yes.
read, okay, yeah.
She's lied about everything, just the same way. Oh, you're probably busy. Yeah, but I can go on break.
Yeah,
like, you're flossing your teeth.
I'm just wondering. She seems a little like desperate, and I mean he's not that big of a catch. Like, oh, I gotta get this guy. It's kind of weird to me. I don't know.
It is a little bit strange. I mean, and they, obviously the interesting part is both have lost someone, and both people are kind of grieving in their own way, and it represents an opposite, right? Where he in many ways just wants to shut out the world. She seeks a connection.
Yeah.
And so they're dealing in their own different ways, and I don't know. I think she's got to. I think a relationship could form, but they just got to meet somewhere in the middle. He's got to give a little bit more.
Yeah,
and she's got to slow down.
That's what I was
just
wondering. I mean, I definitely think that some sort of relationship is gonna form because they put so much emphasis on her in the first couple episodes. So I think something's gonna come of it. But yeah, I don't know if it's gonna be romantic or if they're gonna. I can see them also just ending up being friends and that kind of relationship.
Hopefully, I mean, the tough. I don't know. So obviously, there's plenty of relationships that just happen out of when people are in two bad positions just because they need that connection. And I'm not a psychiatrist in any way, shape, or form to tell you whether that's a good thing or bad, or like how relationships form. But I don't know. If I had to put it's not a good thing. Not for me. I don't think because it almost seems out of necessity that this relationship is about to form.
Yeah. No, I agree. I wouldn't call it a good thing because I think when you're going through that grieving period, you're not thinking how you normally would be necessarily. And so I think your feelings can be a little construed.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll see. I think she's definitely going to be a part of the story. I just don't know in what way.
Well, she got him to sign the contract, so that's a big plot point, and it's one of those things. I mean, if it's going to now eat at her and so forth, because I mean, the way Dion kind of explains, again, very selfish, of like, hey, this is for him. He's finally feeling like himself, and then hearing him at the meeting where he's like, I can finally feel now. Then she's completely sold, and not for the wrong reason, but just the wrong slow it down a little bit. Again, I would love to see this actual contract.
Yeah, I know. I can actually see that coming back to haunt her a little bit. If something, for some reason, I think they made a big deal about this contract. So I think that there could be something in there that is not going to be good for Tommy and Dion. And I can see maybe her feeling a little guilty about not saying anything. Because he trusts, I mean, like, I think it's weird too. They obviously should have gone and found someone legitimate to actually look over this contract if they were concerned. But he trusted her to look it over and...
Yeah, just give it a one. I don't think they've even read it.
I know, that's why I'm so confused about the contract, but whatever. I'm sure we'll find out if anything actually was wrong with it or not.
I'm sure there will be.
Definitely after seeing the dad. There's got to be some...
So let's talk about the dad, right? Very, very interesting figure, and we kind of, the way we're introduced to him, we don't quite know who he is, but he's talking to Jensen, and he's talking about, you know, his father. I actually like the speech a lot because you have to identify a need. Neighborhood's a living organism, but if you can put that need in when people don't even know that they need it, that's something special, or however it went. Really well written. And I like, it still said Moran and
yeah, and then the
just
son.
cross out the son. Like, can you get rid of the and?
So right when I saw that, I didn't know whose dad it was, but I obviously knew it was one of their dads. But Tommy's
indeed, and apparently they haven't seen each other for 10 years. I would love to know. I mean, I think the simple answer is that it came down to the racism part of it.
That was what I thought right when he showed up to dinner and you find out that they had not met before, TJ and him. That was my first instinct, was that it was something to do with Ray, the wife, and that was it. And then obviously you find out just a couple minutes later that it was a race thing.
Yeah. But the big question left on the table is, what discipline did the father enact on TJ? Because obviously those bruises are not from him. However, he does say, like, you got to discipline your kid. Yeah, which,
I mean, that was all kind of weird to me because, I mean, what did the kid do? Really nothing. He went and was looking at the guns, right?
Yeah, but again, kind of, you have to also think, like, I would love to know the full history of his father, but think of what he's been through. I don't know, maybe I'm trying to figure out exactly his age, but maybe he's kind of been through World War II and things like you have to understand, people think differently of a certain generation, right?
That's true.
Like, I'll give you a good example. One of my friend's great grandfather survived, like, literally World War I, and now has built up a huge clothing company in America because he was formerly from Britain. So much so that, like, all the Disney apparel is owned by him. Like, they create that, right? It's a multi-billion-dollar company. And they were Jewish. And now when he hears the person I know talk about, like, his problems and things like that, I can't relate. My friends were burned in, you know.
Yeah, that is true.
So, like, I mean, the comparison is a little different.
That is very true. But I don't know exactly what discipline, though, he put on him. Maybe, what do you think? I didn't really think about it. I just assumed he maybe yelled at him.
I don't know.
Spanked him, you think?
Well, there's spanking, the wooden spoon, or, I mean, it all goes back to spanking, just in a different form, the belt.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I don't know. But I don't know. Do you think we're going to find out? I think we will.
I think we will. Do you think from the interaction that we got that the father is trying to change his ways and actually get to know his grandson?
That's what I was a little... I don't think I know enough about him yet to kind of see what his intentions are here.
I mean, he certainly wasn't trying hard, but, I think in time, again, the whole notion of chess was brought up. I think, he'll learn chess and this and that. Obviously, if it goes anywhere at this point, because we didn't leave it off so well. And that's why I wish, it's one of those things, like, I just wish he had said something.
I know.
Or just write it down.
I mean, yeah, and obviously they set that up really well. We knew that was going to happen, is the bruises that Tommy was going to assume it was his dad and freak out. But I don't know.
Let's talk. One of the better scenes I thought was when TJ goes into the girls' bathroom trying to hide, and I thought they took that to a whole nother level because it could have just been weird and awkward. Of like, what are you doing here? Get out of here, kid! And then perhaps he could have gotten out and then beaten up, and that would have been the cliche thing to do. But he makes a friend. Yeah,
and I actually looked it up, and she's in like 5 more episodes. So I assumed it was going to be something that kind of continues. But I thought I liked how they did that. I was not expecting that at all. It was kind of weird, but
yeah, and the connection, I loved it. They're both artists, right? And when he writes his name, she's perturbed at him, but then the way he does it, she's like, oh, cool, we'll just continue.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think obviously he's been expressing himself through images, and who knows, in a perfect world, he would get to design the menu. I don't know.
Hey, maybe they'll implement him some way.
Hey, what was it? The Cypress boards, or what?
Oh,
the debate over pine or cypress.
I mean, I think that the restaurant will actually be really good for TJ. I think, like you said, he's an artist, and I think he even, because the way Dion looks at cooking, it's like an art to him, and so I think anything like that is going to really help TJ maybe express himself and hopefully, heal a little better from his mom.
Absolutely. Hopefully. Because he's definitely grieving in his own way.
Yeah, for sure.
Which, by the way, maybe he needs to go to, aren't there some meetings that he should be going to?
Which
TJ.
Yeah. Yeah. Was that what Tommy was talking to the counselor about, because his insurance doesn't cover it anymore? But I feel like there's got to be some
Was that for TJ or was that for him?
I thought that was for TJ. Maybe. I could be wrong.
Okay. Yeah. That makes sense too.
Yeah.
Well, they both need both need help.
I think everyone on the show could use a little bit of help.
That's right. And truth. They can't.
Yes.
They just can't be tricked. And unfortunately, oh man. Because whether they know it or not, literally Tommy's life is at stake.
Yeah.
If Dion messes up, these are the people that die.
Yeah, that's why I think it's I kind of am taking back a little. I mean, like I said, there's, I think, a deeper part to Dion that he means well and really truly cares about these people and his relationships, but at the same time he's just being very, very selfish. And
I'm going to contradict you real fast. Going back to Sheena, I think with her, right, because she's on the table to basically, if all goes to hell, she's getting it as well. And so I think, it's no secret that these two are best friends, Dion and Tommy, whereas everyone else in Dion's life, if he can kind of keep them at a good distance, even though he might have, whether, from a friendship standpoint or from a romantic standpoint, feelings for any of these people, it's best to just keep them out of it.
Oh, that's a good way to look at it. Yeah. That's if we're thinking of Dion as the best guy possible.
There's a guy in there.
There's definitely a guy in there.
On the coke.
I mean, I hope that that's the case. I hope he's just, trying to keep her safe.
I love the term optimistically adjacent. That's what I'm going to be. I'm going to be optimistically adjacent about Dion.
I like it. It's a good way to be.
Hopefully I use the term properly. Let us know what you guys think is your favorite storyline thus far. Various things. And as time goes by, one of the things I like to do on my shows is just create a fun special segment. I'm trying to think of what we could do for this. But we'll figure it out in due time. I like
fun. I like fun segments.
All right, then there you go. That's your homework. Come up with something fun.
Okay, I will. I randomly just come up with some really good ideas, and then I don't know what to do with them.
All right, I'll judge if they're good or not, but you can have them.
Hey, they're good I have fun with them.
Okay.
So.
All right, well, we're here to have fun.
I'll work on it.
Overall, just, I thought it was really well shot in general.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I love the title, Feed the Beast.
Yeah, and you find out that the restaurant name means beast.
Three.
Is that what it is?
It's Thirio.
Therio.
I can't say it. It's Greek.
I'll just look up on Google, translate, and just learn how to perfect it.
Therio.
I'll get it down.
You know, and obviously the double entendre is that you know, they got to feed, meaning the beast is the Tooth Fairy.
Yeah.
They got to keep feeding him money, and everyone else money. The thing that I'm still kind of was not quite a big storyline, but was the Asian portion of it. And I'm curious to see where that's going to go.
The drug people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they'll definitely come in more to play, but.
And it also showed that the Tooth Fairy doesn't quite know everything that's going on. That his father's ultimately kind of pulling the strings from behind the scenes.
Yeah, and also we didn't talk about this, but I got almost a sense of that, you know, the dad kind of was like, kill him kind of thing, and I don't know if the Tooth Fairy is really as tough as he tries to portray. I don't know.
That's a good note. Maybe,
but we'll see.
Quite possibly. All right. So without further ado, why don't we head into predictions?
I always wait for the noise.
Now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
All right. What do you got?
I'm always bad at these. Let's think here.
You told me you had good ideas. This is the time to have good ideas.
But like good idea, not like different kind of ideas. Okay, let me think. I definitely think that the therapist at school or whatever, her and Deanne, I think a little sparks there.
Okay.
I think that's gonna happen. I also,
as long as it gets free therapy sessions for TJ.
Yeah. It's for the cause. Deanne's going to do it for the cause.
That's right.
And then I also think that, I think Tommy's going to find out that Deanne, the reason he was pushing this restaurant was so hard wasn't necessarily for like the pure intentions of just kind of, because he kind of made it seem like he was just doing it to, I can't think of the word, for the wife, you know, and her memory. And I think he's going to find out that it was more than that. And he's excited about it, but there's also ulterior motives and complications that Tommy doesn't know about. I think he's going to find out, and I think there's going to be big tension between Deanne and Tommy.
I think so, too. It'll be interesting to see how... I don't think it's going to happen in the next couple episodes. I think, you know, we really got to milk that for what it's worth. Sure. And we're going to build up the stakes even more. So it's going to be interesting. But now we're kind of opening a restaurant. And it seems from the previews we're moving fairly fast. You know, I enjoy where, you know, we have this location. Now we've got the investor and so forth. But rather than kind of drag it out of, you know, an entire season before we can launch, it looks like they're going to launch fairly soon. If not next episode, then I think the one after that.
Yeah.
From what it seems.
I think Pilar is going to work at the restaurant.
Yeah, she certainly wants to.
Yeah, she's trying to get in with Tommy. Like, she's a little...
That'd be a funny conversation. You sure you can work for me? Don't you have a whole restaurant of your own to manage?
I'll make it work.
It's okay.
I'll make it
work. So that'd be interesting. Yeah. And I love learning more about the Tooth Fairy. I think the most interesting part to me is the dichotomy of, as we progress, we also find out more, and it just ties things together. So yeah. I'm excited to see more. And I really hope TJ tells the father the truth about the bruises. I also just hope that nothing bad happens to TJ. I feel like right now, as a character, he could just be used for other people's kind of like collateral. I don't know. You know what I mean? I get nervous about the innocent characters who are, you know, harmless, but they mean so much to bad people. I don't know if that makes sense. No, it does. It does. He is, he means a lot to a lot of people.
Yeah. So that always makes me nervous in shows like this when there's bad guys trying to take blackmail, and I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, we're in the Bronx. All right, guys, let us know what you guys think about this episode, your favorite portions, anything like that. When I say portion, pardon the pun. Although that could be fun. You know, we did get a 5-course meal, right? 5-course or 4?
Was it 4? I think it was 4.
Only 4? I thought we could have gotten 5 out of it. But let us know what you guys thought was the best meal, and we'll see.
Yeah.
In the meantime, we'll think of fun segments. If you guys have any suggestions on what you guys would like us to talk about or do, for example, on Reign, which is a medieval type of show, we do a segment called Castle Corner where we talk about castles and we present them to you.
Oh, I'll come up with something really good. Now you're sparking my my creative.
It can't be about castles. That makes no sense.
No, I'll think of something.
All right.
Well,
in the meantime, where can people follow you?
You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at _Abby Vega.
And follow us here at AfterBuzz TV, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and now Snapchat. Also, if you didn't know, we just relaunched our website, AfterBuzzTV.com. It's a lot easier to find various things. We're going to be relaunching the app very soon as well. So a lot of stuff to look forward to. Always a ton of shows. What shows are you on right now? You're doing a ton.
A lot. Casual, Outcast, Unreal, Are You the One? I think I'm missing something, but I forget. Bloodline.
There you go. Look at that. Certainly an AfterBuzzer of the week over here. All right, guys. Hope you've enjoyed these first 2 episodes. Let us know what you guys think once again. And if nothing else, if you guys like this show, tell a friend as well that we're here as well, because supporting us also helps support the show. We want to be a community. Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.